appreciated the truth in the serenity prayer? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But then you kind of had a hard time with that last line. My 15-year wrestle with Isaiah 40, verse 30, was one of those times when I just couldn't figure out the balance. So I'm excited to share the answer that I found with you in this painting. As somebody who has struggled with chronic fatigue for about 15 years, I feel a special connection with Isaiah 40, verse 30. Even the youths shall faint and be weary. I have often read this scripture thinking, yeah, that describes me pretty well. I consider myself to be a youth at only 24 when my body just completely crashed. And although I had worked so hard to regain my health, you can click here for the full story of that journey. And even though I'd made big breakthroughs, low energy was still one of those major challenges that I just had not beaten yet. So I would read the next verse, Isaiah 40, 31, which says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." And I would think, what on earth does it mean to wait on the Lord so that he will renew my strength? Like, what's the holdup? Did I lack faith or something? Why hasn't he been willing to help me mount up with wings as eagles? Well, searching for answers, I looked up wait on the Lord, and I found that what it literally means: to wait, to look for, to hope, to expect, to wait or look eagerly for, to lie and wait for, to linger for. And so my first impression was just, is he literally just asking me to sit around and wait and do nothing? Like, that felt so wrong to me. Is that really what he wants us to do? Well, I'm standing here with the best energy that I have had in a long time. And the fact was, waiting, doing little to nothing, actually was part of the answer, but not the whole answer. I did have to give up on thinking that I could control my health with nutrition and supplements and doctors or anything else. And I did finally fully surrender to God's timing in that particular area. So that was the necessary wait part. But my energy didn't come back from that alone. It took a little longer, and it took one more step. The step was this: to get to work. Not on controlling my health, which was out of my control, but on the things that I felt God had been asking me to do for years. This thing he'd been asking me to do was my art and this Isaiah project, actually. So when I started doing what I could do and had felt that I had been asked to do, instead of being frustrated about my health, which I couldn't control, that was when my energy took off. And it was honestly just to my complete surprise. I was not expecting this infusion of happy, energetic vibes coming in every single day that I worked hard on getting this project wrapped up and ready to publish. So I got so excited to do a painting about this concept that I sat down to just scribble a bunch of ideas. And since only one of the scribbles would actually ultimately become the monochrome sketch, I did send out a poll for the people in my email tribe to vote on which one they like best. There's a link below if you want to join that tribe, but the point here is that not only were the results of this particular painting just surprisingly unanimous, but one subscriber wrote me a little note to tell me why she voted for that one. She essentially said, "I like this one best because I think that God gives you energy when you are on the move first. He can't direct you unless you are already moving." And I just thought, yes, that little thought, that was it. That was the missing link to why I hadn't fully understood this scripture in Isaiah 40, 31 in the first place. That was why just waiting did not sit right to me. And while the scripture does say to just wait, I realized that the only thing that needed waiting was the issue that I was frustrated about, which was my low energy. I also realized that the reason that my energy came back was that I had shown God that I was truly willing to wait by moving in another direction. I tabled this goal that I really wanted, and I moved in the direction that He wanted me to go. And that was the thing that demonstrated my true willingness to wait upon the Lord. In fact, I was immediately reminded of another dear friend who once said, one way that I like to think of the word wait is like waiter. Are we serving God? Are we waiting on His every request? Yes, and that had been the missing ingredient the whole time. Waiting on what we want does not mean that we stop moving and sit around. Waiting means that we drop the direct focus on what we want and we get to work on His plan for us instead. Trusting that whatever mishaps and weaknesses that we have along the way, they are not going to stand in the way of us getting our mission accomplished. Honestly, this has been an unexpected miracle for me. My energy is back when I wasn't even focused on trying to figure out how to get it back. I can even exercise more often when I discipline myself enough to actually make time for it. But don't get me wrong, I know that moving forward with what we can do and letting go of the things that we can't is a hard balance to find. And it is unique to every circumstance. Even I had a really hard time deciding on where to put the legs in this painting, which kind of made me laugh. It became a bit of a symbol for me of the fact that it's a process to figure out the wisdom in the Serenity Prayer. So if you haven't found that balance yet, I hope the principles that I discovered in my own wrestle with this verse can be helpful to you. If you want to learn more about the life-changing lessons that I learned about Isaiah's warning of idol worship during this same long 15-year whole healing journey of mine, check out this video too. Until then, I just got to say how much I love and trust my God so much more every day, in large part because of the many ways that He has delivered on His promise to give me wings as eagles. When my own efforts had left me tired and wiped out, I have found strength in God, and I'm confident that God has His eyes on you too. If you haven't found your wings yet, keep moving. He's got this, even if you feel like you don't yet. Your wings are definitely there, waiting patiently for you too. If you want details about how you can grab a print or a digital copy of this little monochrome sketch of mine, click the link below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.